All right. We are now ready to start playing rudiments. Hang on, Mr. Miller. What is a rudiment? I'll tell you. There's a certain kind of playing in percussions called rudimental snare drumming. Okay? Rudiments are like little short sequences of notes. Okay, I'm just going to give you some examples that we're going to get to later in this year. Okay, a lot of times they have silly names. Just go with it. All right, so this is called a paradiddle. It's a right, left, right, right. Okay, I can play a bunch of paradiddles in a row. Okay, another example of a rudiment would be a flamacue. Okay, so that's a little flam, which you don't know what that is yet, followed by accent, then a tap, another tap, and then a big accent. That's a flamacue. 9-stroke roll. Okay, 5-stroke roll. 17-stroke roll. Flam taps. Flam accent. A Rudimacue. Okay, and what you do in rudimental drumming is you take all those little bitty short sequences of notes and you combine them to make music. Okay, now that was a very short segment of music I just played. Okay, let me break it down and show you how many different rudiments I use there. That's a 7-stroke roll. These are flam taps. Now I'm going to do a flam paradiddle, then a flam into a 7-stroke roll, into a flamacue, followed by 3 alternating flams. Now, I lost count. I think that's like 6 or 7 rudiments, okay? So, rudiments are like your vocabulary for snare drum, okay? And you have to practice each one of the rudiments separately. And then you can build them and make longer pieces of music, okay? That first solo that I played for you at the beginning of this unit, that was made up of about, I think, 20 different rudiments. There's actually 40 standard rudiments. Eventually, if you stick with percussion long enough, you'll learn all 40 of them. We did about half this year, okay? So your rudiments are like your vocabulary for snare drumming, okay? And it's very important that every time you get assigned a new rudiment, you really learn it, okay? And learn to think of it as all one thing, okay? Like take that first one I showed you, the paradiddle. It has 4 notes in it. I don't think of it as 4 notes. I think of it as all one thing. And that's why I can play them pretty quick, and I can do it without thinking about it because I've trained my hands to just go paradiddle and not have to think right, left, or left, right, left, and think about the sticking, okay? Every unit, you're going to get 1, sometimes 2 new rudiments, and you need to learn them, memorize them, be able to play them forward and backward, okay? Get really good at them so that when they show up in the music, you can just go, oh, no problem, got it, all right? So the first rudiment we're going to learn, this is a universal rudiment, okay? This is the most important rudiment you're going to learn all year. It's called the single stroke roll, okay? So let's start with what is a roll, okay? Percussion is different from every other instrument in that we cannot sustain a sound, okay? A vocalist, if they want to make a long sound, they just go, ah, and they keep singing, okay? They keep pushing air out of their lungs. A string player wants to make a long sound, they just zzz. I don't know why this violin sounds like a bumblebee, but it does. Zzz. They just keep dragging the bow across the string, okay? A clarinet player, a tuba player, they want to make a long sound, they just keep blowing, okay, until they're out of air. That's how they make a long sound. That's not a very long sound, okay? So in order to make a long sound in percussion, we have to hit the instrument over and over again, okay? So our version of a long sound in percussion is this. Or, okay? So that is what we call a roll. It's repeatedly hitting the instrument over and over again in the same way. And I just went through 3 different combinations, okay? This one's called a multiple bounce roll because I'm getting multiple notes on each hand. But you see how it starts to zzz, it starts to sound like a long sound. This one's called a double stroke roll because I'm playing 2 notes on each hand. Okay, and the one we're going to do today is called the single stroke roll, which means one note on each hand. So I'm taking a single note and I'm playing it over and over and over again to get a long sound. Okay. Now, the reason this one is so important is because this one trains us to play with our hands evenly. Okay. Here's an example of a bad single stroke roll. You hear how it sounds like a car with a flat tire? Okay, because I'm making a different sound on both hands. What we want is to get the same sound over and over again so it starts to sound like a long note. Okay, so single stroke roll. Remember that term. That's our first rudiment, single stroke roll. You'll see me abbreviate that as SSR. Okay, so how are we going to practice the single stroke roll? Well, you're certainly not going to just hop behind the pad and go and play as fast as you can, okay? What we do is we practice it using what we call the slow, fast, slow method. Sometimes this is called open, closed, open, okay? So slow, fast, slow. Okay, so that would be a single stroke roll, slow, fast, slow, or open, closed, open. That's the way you're going to practice it. Now, are you going to be able to get that fast the first time? No, this takes months, okay? In my case, years of practice, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm starting very slow and I'm monitoring my technique. I'm going to kind of talk through it as I go this time. Notice how this looks exactly like eights or stick control. Now the key here is gradual. We don't want any big jumps in the speed. It's like you're getting on the freeway and accelerating. Also, notice that as I get faster, do you see how the stick height is coming down a little bit? I'm staying relaxed. Notice I didn't go as fast that time. So that might be a more realistic speed, okay, for you like in your first couple weeks. If you can get to here, you'll be in good shape, okay? Now, I'm going to do it like I did with earlier with like the exercises. I'm going to do some bad versions of it, okay? Okay, so that was really short, but there was a lot of stuff going on there. So I'm going to talk about it, and then I want you to go back and watch it again and see if you can hear what I hear. Okay, so what I heard was it was not gradual. It was here, and then here, and then here. It jumped, like it suddenly got faster. And then when I got to my top speed, it wasn't very even. Okay, so you're going to have like a maximum speed right now, and it may not be very fast. This might be your maximum speed right now. Okay, your maximum speed is the fastest you can play while being relaxed and in control. Okay, if you push past relaxed and in control, we don't care. Like that doesn't count. Okay, we don't want you to go that fast. We want to go as fast as you can while staying relaxed and in control. And that may be right here. Okay, that's fine. So what we do is over the course of a week, a month, a year, we gradually kind of lean on that accelerator and try to push ourselves to find a new fastest speed. So this week you might be right here. That's fine. Next week you might be able to do this. A month from now you might be able to do this. End of the year, maybe if you really work at it, you'll be able to go that fast. Okay? But again, the key is make it sound good, make it be even, make it be relaxed, okay? So you're going to practice the single stroke roll, your first rudiment. You're going to practice it slow, fast, slow. Don't just do it once. Do it several times, 4 or 5 times, okay? Learn what it feels like to gradually speed up, gradually slow down. Remember, the stick height comes down as you get faster and then comes back up as you get slower, and make it be even. Don't push yourself past what you can make a good sound at. All right?